kind of underperformed, so we realized that maybe he's not as strong as we thought. And so during Icebox, even though I didn't perform as well, my teammates covered for me, and so we were able to win.
Now, you know, you and your teammates, you guys have done great here, but we still haven't seen Lakia. What's the plan, and when do you think we will be able to see him play?
네, 이번 대회에서 아직 라키아 선수가 출전을 안 했는데요. 계획이 어떻게 되고 라키아 선수는 언제쯤 저희가 볼 수 있을까요? 무대 위에서?
8강 준결승 그리고 결승에서 저희 라키아 형이 힘을 숨기고 있거든요. 그래서 그때쯤 아마 세 경기 모두 MVP를 먹으러 나오지 않을까 싶습니다.
We've hidden Lakia for the quarters, semis, and the finals, and so we expecting to come out during those matches and get MVP for all of them.
I'm very, very excited. And now, lastly, before I let you go, you know, you're a team that everybody in the world admits to stealing stuff from in scrims, in your officials. Are there any teams here that you've learned a lot from, or you guys have been kind of stealing strats, or any cool jet things you've seen?
네, 비전 스트라이커즈라는 팀으로부터 많은 다른 팀들이 어떤 뭐 전략이라든지 세트 플레이를 흔히 훔쳐간다라는 표현을 하고 본인들도 그걸 인정하고 있는데요. 그렇다면 비전 스트라이커즈는 이번 대회에 와서 다른 팀들로부터 좀 얻고 배워가는 점들이 있으신가요?
네, 일단 저희 팀의 영업 비밀이지만 그래도 많은 팀들한테서 많은 개념들을 또 얻어왔고 그걸 또 대회에서도 많이 썼고 또 스크림에서도 어떻게 사용하면 더 좋고 또 그것을 저희 것으로 만들어가지고 스크림하면서 많은 것을 얻고 배웠습니다.
Although I can't tell you everything because it's, you know, operational secret, but we have learned a lot from scrims and practices with other teams here in Berlin, and so we want to take those ideas and then go home and practice and make it ours.
Oh, thank you very much, Buzz. I cannot wait to see those ideas, and congratulations once again.
Thank you.
Well, that is Vision Strikers through, but do not worry, guys. We have more Valorant action coming up because Sentinels will be taking on F4Q right after this break.
connections with you. I won't give up when you're walking out. So don't give up, just trying to lighten up. 'Cause this time we'll make it through. Weak signals through the night. One chance to make it right. Weak signals through the night. One chance to make it right. Weak signals through the night. One chance to make it right. Miss connections with you. Around it goes. Just trying to lighten the mood. But around it goes.
Welcome back to Masters Berlin, where we're just about to jump into Sentinels versus F4Q. But as we've got Kakuka joining us for this third and final series of the day, I just quickly want to get your reaction as well to the series we just witnessed, the 2-0 destruction by Vision Strikers over a SEN.
I was very impressed. I saw a lot of Counter-Strike, and I saw a boss that I'll be extremely scared to play against. So GG's to them. What else can I say?
They're going to be a very terrifying team as we move through the tournament. A surprise to say the least, but what might be a bigger surprise for some would be if F4Q could topple the Titans in Sentinels today. I think it's important to note as we take a look at the Group D standings that as each of these teams have already played a game, their opponents so far have been that G2 esports squad. One getting the victory, the other taking the defeat.
But both of them going to the third map. We have to mention that as well.
True.
We had to mention Sentinels losing their first map on an international event. But what is going to happen today? That is the big question. Because if we do the math, we could say that this should be a win for Sentinels.
I would say that it's fairly safe to assume that Sentinels are likely to win, but I'm not going to say no to them losing a map again. And I've been the NA shill out of us two, so I'm a fan, but also like it just makes it a bit juicy.
Thank you for shilling so I don't have to for North America. But Sentinels, let's remind ourselves of the 5 players that will be taken to the stage for them. Their household names at this point, of course.
Yes.
You've got Shazam leading the squad, Tens behind him, Sick, Dapper, and then, of course, Zoms to close it out.
I mean, obviously, this is a squad that we've talked to a lot, that we've seen a lot. They are, for now, the world champions so far. Let's see if we can change that during this week.
Yeah, the incumbent world champions for now.
Well, yeah, exactly. So they come in with high expectations, but as Kakuka already mentioned, the fact that a map was dropped in their very first series in the tournament spells to us that they are not infallible. And this tournament alone, I think, has already proven to us that some preconceived expectations, they can't be taken as gospel anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I think they even said yesterday they didn't expect it to be like that. They probably assumed that it was going to be a little bit easier than they actually found it. So while I would say F4Q and G2, obviously very different opponents, I'm wondering if Sentinels are going to come into this game maybe assuming a little bit less comfort.
Do you think so? Because I mean, on the paper, I think that G2 is like a stronger opponent from F4Q. No disrespect to them. I think that they're crazy that they put Esperanza, Zumba, 5K. They did a great job. I'm actually really eager to see that 10s versus 5K. I mean.
Well, you just called it, so let's talk about him. 10s, right? We'll
Okay.
get to 5K in just
Okay.
a moment, but this guy has been a rock star through and through. The mechanics on display, even in that long pause on the firing range, if people may recall. 10s was absolutely bopping the bots left and right.
Yeah. You're bopping the bots. Yeah, absolutely. No, and I think one of the really cool things about the way that Tens plays, and we did talk about this yesterday, was that he often kind of goes off of what it is that Shazam is setting up, and he doesn't always have to be the guy who's making the biggest plays. He doesn't always have to be the guy who's at the top of the leaderboard, but he very oftentimes finds himself being there because of how his team set him up.
Well, let's hear from the man himself, 10s, as he steps back onto stage at another international LAN.
G2 put up a good fight. They're obviously a really good team, and probably gonna meme them for this is our town. I think it was really good that we lost the second map because we're able to see what worked, what didn't work, and kind of shape our gameplay into something that was even better. We definitely saw G2 as a decent team, and so we definitely didn't think of them as an easy match. I don't see any other team that's a problem for us. It's not the worst if we do lose like a few matches here and there. It's actually really good that we lose. It allows us to prepare even further for Champions, which is our main goal for the end of the year.
Taking the loss in stride. You love to hear that as a learning opportunity. The first time somebody's challenged them in that way. Cool. Now we get to see holes in our own gameplay, learn how to shore those up, and make sure that we're even more unbeatable the next time you see
I mean,
us.
if I were Sentinels, I would like to lose it now in my first encounter,
Yes.
knowing that I have another one to, like, they need to know what losing feels like, okay?
Well, and I think for F4Q, hey, now they've seen one example of Sentinels falling, so maybe they can read into that a little bit as we take a look at the 5 players who'll be stepping on stage for F4Q today.
Yeah, I mean, for F4Q, you've just watched your counterpart in Korea make it to Champions. Vision Strikers just had the game of their lives. This squad right here are going to be looking to do the same thing. And again, we've already spoken about how they originally started off as this so-called meme team or stream team or whatever you want to refer to it. And they've actually become a really, really viable competitive squad. They have that experience behind them. They've been putting in so much work to get there. And of course, they're here on this stage.
I have to say, before we were getting on the desk and getting ready for this game, the players were, you know, like setting up everything to get the PC working. We're actually gonna look at 5K, but I need to mention really quick
Yes, do it.
that SOFina measuring with a ruler the distance between the edge of the desk and his mousepad, his keyboard, literally everything with a green ruler. And I was like, okay. But let's talk about a little bit about 5K, because we do say a lot about, you know, Shazam and how he leads the team. 5K does the same, but he's going to do it. We saw it often with the Reyna, even with the Sky. I really like how he did it on Bind.
Yes, what I will say about 5K is yesterday, the Sky that we saw from him was so visibly improved than what we saw in the grand finals. And actually, I would go as far as to say is I enjoyed watching his Sky a lot more than his Reyna. I think his Reyna is still kind of flawed. His Sky looked so much more improved than it did.
All right, well, once again, let's get a quick word from 5K.
사실 G2가 플레이 스타일이 너무 바뀌어가지고 준비했던 전략들을 많이 못 쓴 게 너무 아쉽고요. 그래도 뭔가 실수 때문에 뭔가 많이 그렇게 라운드 잃어가지고, 그리고 어센트 같은 경우에는 워낙 G2가 플레이 스타일이 많이 바뀌어가지고 저희가 너무 그걸 신경을 많이 쓴 것 같아요. 전에 G2 스타일을. 오늘 보여준 게 만약에 G2의 전부면 다음 경기에서는 100% 확률로 2대 0이 날 겁니다. 그리고 VS가 저희를 만났을 때 모든 팀 중에 저희를 가장 만나기 싫어하기 때문에 해볼만 할 것 같아요. 일단 응원해주셔서 너무 감사드리고, 응원 많이 해주시면 다음 경기에서는 무조건 2대 0으로 꼭 G2를 박살내버리도록 하겠습니다.
Well, some sights set on the rematch against G2, but they got to get through Sentinels first here today. And again, what a surprise it would be, and how much it would shake up this group if they are to hand Sentinels a loss in this match.
Oh yeah, I mean it would be insane, and I think the most important thing that we would gain from it is just this understanding that coming here into Berlin, the gap between a lot of these teams has narrowed. Whereas you look back at Reykjavik, and it was a lot more a starker difference. And I think in some of the games we've seen over the last few days, it has kind of taken us by surprise how competitive many of them can be, and this would be no different.
I mean, no other than the last match that we had also yesterday was an extremely long day. I also feel like for FRQ, losing today is not the end of the world. I know that they're going to come back at G2. Maybe they do the same with Sentinels.
Well, for the third and final time today, let's go ahead and step on stage and meet our teams. This will never get old to me. Respect given across the board from all 5 players on each team as F4Q and Sentinels head to their desks.
I'm kind of sad that there's no crowd so people can actually live through this moment, because I feel like we get to live it every single time, and I feel sad for that, you know?
Yeah, no, we're really spoiled here because of how loud it is for us. And we hear all the yelling, all the chanting, and we're here like, yeah.
One day soon, you at home will be able to join us live for one of these events. Until then, we'll do our best to do justice to the energy that these players bring to the stage every single day as they go head-to-head across 3 maps. Speaking of maps, I think we got to talk about that. Because in general, I imagine it's a struggle to prepare against a team like Sentinels.
Yeah,
Where do you find a weakness that you can really target?
I mean, there's few of them, okay, but you need to have a nice map for that. So I have my doubts on what is going to be for FRQ, because we know that they have never played Breeze, but they decided to ban Icebox against G2. Are they going to repeat the same here? Because, you know, anything could be.
Yeah, it's such a risk if they decide to do that, because they're really hedging their bets on the idea. We have not seen Breeze be played whatsoever so far here in Berlin. And would that be something that Sentinels would then be like, oh, hell yeah, I see that opportunity? Because their map pool is so strong, they could absolutely see a substantial advantage there.
Oh, and they're going to go for the Icebox again. Okay, so this is a statement from them. We are not as scared of Breeze anymore. We don't know anything about them on Breeze. That kind of scares me.
It throws the ball into Sentinel's court almost, right? Like, okay, you haven't seen us play it, so do you really want to test us
there? Yeah, but they're testing themselves on an official right now, so it's like a lot for them.
Well, this Ascent ban is really interesting to me because Sentinels have decided to do that, but against G2, F4Q lost on Ascent 5-13. It was such a weak map for them. Why are they banning it?
Because they don't feel comfortable playing on Ascent, so why would they even take
their discomfort is everyone else's comfort.
Yeah, well, okay.
So Split's the first pickup, and it's F4Q's choice. I mean, for me, I take a look at the score lines of the previous series. That was a 13-6 win for Sentinels over G2. So again, already struggling to find where F4Q might find their openings in that map number 1.
I will say that with Split, it's not a map that historically F4Q have played a lot of, but they did beat Vision Strikers 13-9 in the grand final.
Stop the presses.
Oh,
we got it. Your very first Breeze map of Masters Berlin is coming in map 2. We are guaranteed to get it.
Exactly, completely guaranteed. Oh, thank you very much, Sentinels. They saw the breach and they were like, okay, let's see what you have prepared. I really like this pick from Sentinels.
I'm so happy about that. I don't even care how it goes. I just want to see it.
And throw prep out the window at this point, right? Because as we said, you've never seen F4Q on it, so it's going to be the first time for everything when it comes to the agents and the scraps that are pulled out.
Sentinels are crazy on attack, especially on Breeze, so they're comfortable. They're in for for the show.
Pace 5K, play Sky, don't play Reyna.
We'll find out in just a moment what agents they're looking to play. But of course, we got to take a look at map 3. It's Bind for F4Q if we happen to make it there.
I love it. I think that this map is a must for these two teams. I don't know if we're going to make it into the third map, but 5K on Sky, you were mentioning Gio. He was actually playing for Garden. He was playing as an actual Sky. He also, I mean, you cannot take him off the duelist in his heart, but I feel like they performed super well on that map. And from Sentinels, we know that they go for the double duelist, that they are super strong. Getting to see some sick on race, always a treat.
It's really interesting, actually, the Sentinels have chosen to start on the defense because it was the attack that F4Q did so well on against G2.
Well, of course. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, sorry. Yeah, I was just going to follow up on that. The bunny with Raze, the entries on sides were just crazy.
Well, of course, we do start on split for map number 1. We've got one game of evidence here at Masters Berlin for Sentinels. F4Q yet to play it as their first series sported Ascent, Bind, and Haven. So what, if anything, is your expectation for the kind of firepower that F4Q is going to bring to the table here in our first map?
We can expect a lot of race crazy play. Their attack is super, super strong, so obviously that is what they want to show us. Maybe some changes, I don't know. I really like also what Sentinels did, moving Dapper onto the Viper, playing that double controller, my favorite comp in every single map, except for Icebox, I'd say, and Breeze. But let's see what they have for us.
I mean, I think you're definitely going to see quite a lot of Bunny pushing mid, holding a judge, holding male, like all of these kinds of things. It feels a bit cliche at this point to say that Bunny is such a linchpin to the way that this team play, but I think because of his unique Raze playstyle, that's why it comes up so much. And on a map like Split, that can be very important in holding those pivotal parts of the map.
Yeah, completely agree. And one thing that I said that I wanted to see today, and we're going to actually start with that, is probably, most likely, the 5K versus TENS.
Oh, yeah. That's a matchup for the ages. We'll see if he can hold TENS down. That seems to be one of the biggest challenges and the recipe, or your best recipe for success against Sentinels.
I mean, when F4Q played this map against Vision Strikers in the Korean VCT Grand Finals, 5K was actually involved in tons of opening engagements. He did a really, really good job compared to some of the other maps that they played, and he was, of course, playing the Reyna on that. So this did certainly seem... Well, I was going to say this seemed to be a much stronger map for him, but he's already locked in the sky.
Thank you very much for nothing. I just wanted to see the TENS versus 5K. I'm not gonna get it. Okay.
Nope.
Also, Dapper back on the Cypher, going back to bases. Maybe yesterday he felt like he was not 100% comfortable. I like this.
I mean, the Viper was really cool, but I think they gave away some ideas and maybe he wants to come back to where he is comfortable. But we're definitely going to be seeing some different playstyles from these two teams because of that fact, you know, that we're having a slight change up in the agent composition. That 5K on Sky is definitely an interesting one because that's been very characteristic of the way they want to play.
Well, your boys Sick and Dapper look ready to go, and so if they're ready, I'm ready. Doug, Riv, take it away.
Oh, baby, you know we're ready too. It's about time. Sentinels F4Q, and man, we've talked about this F4Q roster and how fun they are on paper. The stream team, Bunny just like flies across your screen in ways that should probably be
my note is
illegal.
double blast Bunny.
He just goes, right? But I want to get your thoughts on this, Riv. We talk about a player who popped off for F4Q against G2, and that was Esperanza. Are you expecting a similar performance?
I think they're going to need it. Esperanza, Bunny, they all popped off with their first bloods too, kind of first deaths. That first death started to rack up towards the end, but seeing F4Q be able to get those first bloods, opening shots, you heard them say, 5K was talking about how they view teams, and then, oh, we're already starting right here. I don't even have a chance to describe how awesome they are. They'll show you.
I mean, the gravity wall was there. You saw the satchel charge right off the bat, and the flash followed. They were just able to completely overwhelm Dapper right off the bat. Talk about kicking off this series with a bang. That's exactly what F4Q do. Now they've gotten on the site. They have the spike down as well. And you've got some presence, but F4Q are just hunkered in sight so well. Esperanza's already been cleaned up. Excellent counter.
Great wall, great wall.
A tap. TENS gets it half. I don't know if they're going to be able to get through. Afina's already going to good one, but TENS is just going to stick it. They steal the round away. They get the defuse, and TENS gets 4.
What a spicy round. 3v3, full defuse up. Maybe it was 4v3, but still that instant wall. And Sentinels using F4Q's wall that prepped them into the site so nobody could get behind enemy lines there. And here's Sentinels once again retaking fast wall there coming up.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head, Riv. That wall, the ability to counter and counter their initial aggression, deny so much space. You saw the guy was just stuck there with trying to like pick his way through that thing with an ice pick. It just takes forever in pistol rounds. So just bought Sentinels enough time. Now they're going to be upgraded on weapons. F4Q not going to be nearly as fortunate, but we'll see how they feel things out on the attack, as they're already facing a slower.
Moving up towards mid here. Tens wants to get in early. Get those Althorps up, start to control the game if he can get Empress. His Sick takes a big shot. He will have to heal. There's Ghosts and Sheriffs. Possibility for F4Q to keep these longer shots and come out with a few head dinks. Oh, yeah, over and over.
A little rinse, a little repeat, a great leer there, and Shazam was able to peek off of that to clean up Athena. So now that's one weapon off the board for F4Q. Make that 2 as 5K is going to follow shortly thereafter.
Covering all their bases right now, making sure they're kind of just stuck in the middle of the map so they themselves aren't split. They can all rotate together if F4Q does decide to peel off and just crash on one site. But right now, it is all mid, and that's Bunny taking down Shazam. A possible gun to be grabbed here and bolster the forces of F4Q, but it is only the one and lonely Zumba.
Whoa, Sick. Sick was the last player mid, and he gets cleaned up. Nice shots out of Zumba to take care of that. You're going to see Tens pushing back towards middle, make sure that there's nobody working their way in through ropes.
This is very possible.
Zams is wrapping his way around as well, and you're right, Zumba has a weapon upgrade. But slightly possible, I suppose. I hesitate to say very possible, though.
Gonna get that plant. They may allow it to happen and just crush him after that. He'll do it within his own smoke. Zom's looking away. He knows where it is now.
Oh, he saw him. Yep, cleaned up. I mean, for Zumba there, you go for it, right? And if nothing else, you get the money off of getting the plant. You're able to carry that into the next round. That's great. And honestly, for Sentinels, yeah, Tens is going to get the defuse to get the Empress online, but that was costly. That was not free. That was not easy.
They're pushing back, right? With how sure and confident Bunny and the team rushed into B, they said, well, we're going to snuff that out. Let's get to mid. Tens loves to just go right off the rip and start to get frags. They continue to, like you said, rinse and repeat in mid, and they did finally get him that Empress, which can turn on now for the first gun round, thwarting what F4Q might bring. And look at this Judge in the hands of Bunny. He's ready to go down the Satchel Trail.
Vintage Bunny. We'll see where he's set up. I don't know that he's got anything early going on quite yet. Oh, here he goes. And it's a little bit of what we saw, right? The flash, the go, the gravity well. Just like what we saw in round 1 and Sick. In the first round, it was Dapper. This round, it was Sick, who tastes a little bit of that Bunny action.
Oh, I cannot wait for all of the rounds. Let's go to 3 on this. It's already started off very fiery. And I don't think F4Q is going to stop that momentum at all. Sentinels have lost 1, as well as F4Q here in our 3rd round. This is the bonus for Sentinels as they continue to control this zipline area. They've had a lot of focus on this just for the first 3 rounds, because losing that kind of just separates the map enough to not know which site to take. They don't want to be in that position.
Yeah, Riv, I think the thing I want to keep an eye on here is you see F4Q work their way into ropes. The spike isn't there yet, so they may just be pushing off. Whatever presence was there, Shazam's just able to stuff Esperanza. The spike hasn't gotten any closer. You see them going to rotate back towards B Heaven. And there is some presence from Sentinels there. You've got Tens, who's playing up top. You've also got Dapper close by, just on the other side of the smoke. Nice shots from 5K. Now Tens understands there's pressure coming his way. Empress comes online. He spots 5K, cleans him up. The dismiss, hello, right around the corner. Has to back up, gets away with his life.
And look at how patient Sentinels is on this. They did hear someone over at A. It was Athena that made sound. That's why they've been waiting. But now they start to lean towards the backside so they can get an easy rotation around the map.
10 seconds left.
This is going to be a tight one. Once again, they bring it down to the wire. Push in. Athena saves them. Tens goes down.
Excellent cross from Athena there. You're right, to cover Zumba, to give him space to get the spike down. To leave things into 2v2, you see Shazam creeping his way forward. The turret's going to tag him up, or at least contact, let him know exactly where he's coming in from, while Zams is going to be working his way around through defender spawn as well. Make it a spot onto Zumba. The timing's there. He tags him up. Oh, the bullets are traded right back. Zumba just down to 57 health. Shazam cleans up Athena. Sentinels looking to bust the economy wide open here in the opening rounds of this map. But Zumba, look at it, stuff it, Zumba, the snaps, the shots, the Red Bull clutch for F4Q.
And honestly, there were things coming in on the site that made that difficult, right? We saw Athena have to push up through the smoke, gave a little worse positioning on Shazam, but it didn't matter. They were able to keep the comms up, and Athena with the aim as well, picking up the first two of his on the map, and they were big frags. We'll see it again. Oh, buddy.
Yeah, I think...
Look at that gravity well, too.
Oh,
There's no chance.
Right. No, it's a perfect setup. What I want to keep an eye on, though, is we know that F4Q are going to do that, right? Bunny's going to dial something up. He's going to full send. They're going to get opening picks. But what do F4Q do with that, right? Like, how do they take that opening advantage and really blow the round open? Because so far, for Sentinels, they have been able to trade it out. We're hopping right into the 4th round.
Bunny feeling like the judge is going to be what has the verdict for most of these rounds, and he goes right for it again. Also being able to just kind of put that money somewhere else as you keep mounting a bit of cash, only having to buy that. And his util has really only been blast back usage for now. They are setting up towards the A side. You can see the double Astra Stars ready for an entrance to slow them down. Shazam will get first look, and he will get first death.
Blades from offline. There's a whole lot of F4Q headed their way. The gravity well is not going to deny Athena that action as the Cosmic Divide comes out as well, but F4Q just continue to march on.
Absolute brute force here by F4Q. They know they have power in numbers. They throw themselves through the site. Cosmic Divide's going to slow things down here for the retake, as Esperanza wants to make sure they have every angle of this A site before Sentinels tries to get in.
Yeah, and I mean, even look at Zumba, right? Like, Zumba's so far back out, waiting to see where the flank is coming in from as Dapper drops 10s. And you don't have a whole lot to save, and you are Arena with the Sheriff. And, well, it is 10s that we're talking about here, but there's just no room to get her in, Riv. I mean, they have a decent idea of where he is. Smoke's all over the place. He can't get within sniffing distance of this thing, so we're going to be tied up into a piece.
He's going to run himself over to that spike, allow himself to go down and get some cash here. Unless he finds the weapon on the side? Yeah, he does, okay. Nah, he does go down. Just finds it a different way. And we're going to see what happens here in this 5th round. Great movement, great control. We saw Zunba having a round before for himself. And he is the Astra of the team. Almost kind of considered the God Astra coming out of the region, right? And with his ex-Overwatch just kind of history, he's used to being able to just get in and out of abilities, know what quickly needs to be done if utility is required. And we've seen that already with Gravity Wells to assist Bunny. Getting into the site, the Cosmic Divides immediately to set up the right angles. It's going to be tough if that's the kind of power F4Q keeps bringing to the table.
They're going fast again. There it was one more time. The flash, the blast pack, and the gravity well just on the other side of where Bunny is going to be. You mentioned the judge one more time. This time they're investing the Seekers as well. That's going to clear out all of Heaven. Get back into Defender spawn.
He hears them.
And they've got the lockdown as well. Bunny in a great spot. You've got Shazam. You see him holding down the op. Tight angle. Spike goes down. I don't think they have anything to clear out that lockdown. No, they're just going to have to give the space back up and then attempt to retake.
Sentinels, obviously they're playing this round to allow a bit of F4Q space. Sentinels on that retake game, but the amount of space and how freely F4Q is taking it is really just shutting Sentinels down here. Something's going to have to adapt in the next few rounds as they figure out how do we stop Bunny, because the initiation that Bunny and the rest of the team are putting together right now, you can't be there. You can't just say, all right, let's put 2 or 3 there, because it could actually go wrong. So that Dapper picking one up here to cause a little bit of econ damage at the end of the round.
We're seeing this early oomph from F4Q just being a bit too much for Sentinels early on, and I think what's fun, in my opinion, to watch from F4Q is that it's not just the opening moments, right? Take that round, for example. They took that opening space early on off of Bunny, but they also, once it got the spike down, they pushed into Defender spawn.
Yeah, they kept going.
Yeah, they had Sentinels on the western side of the map, right? Like, they pushed them so far back, they couldn't even get to the 50-yard line.
All right, let's take stock of what is going on. It is just 3-2. But obviously these last few rounds have looked very clean for F4Q, and that's where our descriptions are coming from. Sentinels right back on the operator play. Bunny right back on the satchel trail, and this time he's got Phantom to keep the plays going and hold hard angles. See if that operator comes into play. It's kind of stuck up here in Heaven, but it's gonna make the shot. It's gonna count. Esperanza goes down.
There it is. A little bit of presence as they make their way into ropes, pull right back out the spike, no further for Sentinels. Right, you've got a good bit of info. You just saw Dapper pop into his camera, make sure there's nobody working in through B garage, and then you've also got heavy presence towards A, right? As far as personnel goes, you've got the Astra Star set up to ensure if there is contact, they're able to gravity well and then trade off of that. The one area that's left a bit exposed, right, is mid, and there you go. You've got Shazam with the op up top in this cheeky corner. Flash pushes him off.
And F4Q is doing all of this without the spike, still reading the map. Their intention to say, how are you going to react, Sentinels? We're not even making a decision yet. That's going to be a bit of the util for Cypher down. They have to play that a little safer now from Sentinel's side, and F4Q again starts to take space in heaven.
Now this is a look we have seen from F4Q a couple of rounds now, right? Where they get in through mid, they make some noise over A, and then they pull back and go towards B. Great shots from Dapper there. That's actually a really big deal. Zumba just down to 10 health. Certainly denies some of that push. Shazam's Ops able to take care of Bunny, but not able to take care of Athena. 2v2. Both members of Sentinels are healthy. The spike finally making its way onto the site. Sick. Oh, the turret's gonna get a spot away, but he lands the shots anyway. That's gonna leave 5K. In a brutal spot, Zoms comes around, never saw him coming, cleans it up, so we're tied up a three-piece, Riv.
Back and forth. F4Q has an idea of how to get through. We were looking for the Sentinels adapt. They go back to a bit of their retake game, and it does come down to just the aim on the angles. Everybody's utility basically out at the end of the round there, so it all comes down to the mouse movement. And here, this has been a spot where they have seen Bunny coming each time, and almost every time. Shazam's still going to stand there, take the op shot, feel like he can hit it. So already saying if we shut Bunny down, we can shut down quite a bit more.
Right. Right, well, and then even you saw Bunny with the slight adaptation there, right? Previously, he goes all the way into male. This time, he gets all the way just back into middle. But you feel that pressure. Once you hear that audio cue, you know that that's where that's been coming previously. Good chance it hits there again. As we enter a technical pause, we'll get you all back into the action as soon as possible. But I know we've talked about Bunny a lot, and as you've seen the opening rounds, it's for good reason, but you've got to keep an especially keen eye on him this time around because, Riv, he's got the showstopper.
And this is actually where I can get back into what I was saying for round one before Bunny just went off like a madman, is that we need to see him and Esperanza or even anybody else on the team, as Zunba's coming up with a few, have those opening frags, have those opening kills. Looking at Sentinel's last match versus G2, over that match, TenZ was 12-3, first kills to first deaths. 12-6 for 6. So you're going to have these two guys, as soon as they come online, delivering that kind of firepower again. And we did see this, it kind of had a lackluster first map, but not second at all. So it is there. Sometimes it takes a bit to get going in that tank for Sentinels, but once they figure it out, it does seem like Shazam can start making those calls. I saw something online that was hilarious, is that like TenZ is just a winter soldier and Shazam's like, I'm gonna whisper in your ear and then you go kill. Like they can lock it in, but it seems like F4Q has prevented Sentinels from doing that right off the bat, and they got to feel really good about that. They're enjoying the heck out of this.
Well, it's an excellent start, and I think we expected a good matchup between these two squads. So great start here. Very quick update for you all who are hanging out with us at home. Sentinels players are having some issues with their microphones, so we are going to pause the game, make sure we get that situated, figured out, so we can get you back into the good stuff as soon as possible. We talk about good stuff again. It's been a lot of play off of Bunny, but Sentinels, I mean, really, in many instances, they've responded well. So they, at least for the time being, have managed to, in maybe not perfectly, but a respectable amount of the time, they've managed to weather that storm.
Absolutely, and this, honestly, looking at the stats, should be a hell of a first half. Attack win rate on split for F4Q, 70%.
Yeah.
Defense win rate on split for Sentinels, 70%. Just absolutely smashing heads together in that back and forth. So whatever happens this first half, it might just go 6-6 due to that strength both teams have coming from their potentially strong side.
Now, Riv, I do want to get your thoughts on this. It's seldom that we see a map on split, or a match on split, excuse me, where we don't see a Viper. Oftentimes, we see two. This time, we don't even get one.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
That feels more comfortable in being able to move where your control is. because you're not set in one place once you throw out the gas, or once you throw out stars, you are with the gas wall. So there's those decisions to be made. Vipers usually have their throws, the areas they'll go for one ways and small things if they're going to be covering mid alone and continuously pressure gas in mid to be able to rotate back and forth. So if it's not set up, it seems like they do want the mobility of what Astra's going to bring to the table. As we said about Zunba anyways, the god of Astra in his region. And we know that Sentinels have been using this pick for quite some time as well, as Zoms is very proficient on it. And coming to round 7 now, looks like it's going to be a little love for A. Bunny's getting ready with the ult.
There we go. Last pack, the showstopper. We called it a different angle on the flash. It's not able to pull him out of the sky. Now Bunny's the one who's caught up. Zoms punishes him. 2 huge kills coming out of Zoms at the entry onto the site. And the thing about F4Q is they have 1 speed, and that's go. And so far, they've been able to fight back, take the site back, as it's a 3v2 in favor of F4Q.
Guardian there for Tens. He's trying to get shots from the back. It's picked up by Athena, and now the 2v1.
Spike hasn't been planted yet. Shazam, fully healthy, right? Has armor, has health. The spike goes down, but is he in a tough spot here? No op. I don't know that he's seen it. No, he hasn't seen it, but he's going to be able to isolate the fights, but so was 5K, and he wins that duel. F4Q take the lead.
I don't know if I've ever seen a team consistently play this fast. To say, we will always take the pressure opening shot, right? You're flying around the corner. Your team's, Bunny's flying around the corner, I should say. Your team's coming out through smokes, and you're all trying to get the first peek. You are testing your opponent to the max. And honestly, Sentinels got out of the way. They positioned differently in that one. But again, it seems like F4Q is just smothering these spike sites and not allowing any of the retaliation that we see from the Sentinels retake usually.
Pistols here for Sentinels.
Instantly clearing close.
Yeah, and not nearly as, there it is, slightly delayed. This time Bunny gets caught.
It's just closing the door.
In the gravity well. The slow orb slows him down as well. You hear the Seekers have come out. Zoms! That's actually Bunny's classic that wins that. Crispy shot. So 10's good for 2. He's going to get up. Shazam's doing a bit of his own. As through all of the opening chaos, Sentinels somehow walk away with the numbers advantage. I mean, Sick also has his res. There it is. Going to bring 10s online. Numbers even more heavily in favor of Sentinels here, but what they don't have is the gun advantage, right? You're still looking at 2 rifles going into 3. Pistols now make that 1 as Esperanza playing tight. He gets cleaned up. Or he cleans up, excuse me. Gets a second. Drops it down to 1v1, but Sick, baby, Sick! He is going to get the defuse as well. We're tied up at 4.
There it is, the back and the 4th, round for round. You love to see it, and those were some damn good shots from the Sheriffs. Again, F4Q going in hard. Sick threw up the wall. Smokes went up from Zoms. They tried to close the door immediately, so at least it stops 1 or 2 members of F4Q coming through, and it seems like those did give the angles to the Sheriffs required by Sentinels here. Sick with the second one of the round for himself. And a quick kiss. That was for you.
Close though, but again, man, like Knife's Edge, super close round at the end there. Easily could have gone either way, and I think because of that, as those rounds play out, you'll feel some of that in economy. F4Q opting to take a timeout here.
Yep. Shazam on the op in the back. You probably expect to see a smoke in his face as soon as anybody comes around the corner, but we will see what actually plays out on that. And F4Q wanting to take this time to discuss, is maybe aggression working? You know, we have no idea what they're saying, but they've kind of gone with a one-track mind at the moment. And honestly, we love to see it. I'm sure the fans love to see it, but they definitely want to be able to adapt and figure out here if they can play it slow maybe. If getting to that middle of the map again and allowing Sentinels to get off their first angles could be beneficial. Really, we've just seen Bunny in go mode.
And I think, you know, we mentioned it earlier, they just seem to have 1 speed, right? And to your point, that speed is go.
It is.
Right? They like to dial things up aggressively. They like to hit fast and hard shortly right after the round starts. And I think the one benefit for that is, as you think about conditioning over an entire half, you hit hard, you hit fast, you hit hard, you hit fast. So all of a sudden you find yourself in a spot where you're expecting some of that, right? And then you throw the brakes on it, right on the spot, and that's difficult to deal with.
Yeah. It's also really hard to ever create a flank on a team that plays like this. Like, you'll be big flank in the end, which is like A ramp if you're going into A, but that long flank is almost never in play because everybody's positioned in sight, and here we go again. Oh my word. Bunny comes up with the judge onto Zoms.
And they've got the Cosmic Divide as well, so Operator from Shazam is just not able to provide any value, at least in the opening moments of that round. Keep an eye on Zumba, though. Zumba's on a flank. They've got the lockdown that has been used. Buy some space. Oh, Zumba. Zumba's coming up from behind him, and I don't think they know he's there. How much information is he going to be able to get? They continue to back away, so he's not going to get any of those kills early on, but now he's taking that space away that they had, but he gets nothing! Bunny is able to clean up Dapper, however. They're pinched in heaven, right? Like, they have an excellent crossfire setup on top ramps. Ten's dropping his way down. Stays alive somehow. 36 health. Shazam lands a shot as well. The flash is there. It's beautiful. As Sentinels seem to be flipping this round, it's going to fall onto 5K, but Shazam's op stops it. Is he going to be able to get the defuse? I don't know that he is.
A second late on that, even on the fast retake, 5-4 as F4Q comes up with another round, but a very, very expensive round at that, even in their favor. Everyone across the board fragging, as you can see, the KDAs, the participation is there, team wide, as we are on the first map of this series, if you can believe it. And again, Bunny just delivering presence everywhere with the blast packs and the judge, and you just can't stop this guy.
Yeah, I mean, what do you do? Right, like, you say you can't stop the guy. What do you do?
I really don't know. Because as soon as he comes around the corner, he's still hopping around. He's still jumping. Even here with the Phantom, quickly taking out Cypher utility and just pings Dapper. As the classic bullets come through, he immediately gets them. Shazam answers.
Sham is one of two remaining members on the side of Sentinels that have upgraded weapon. Tens and Zoms both have Sheriff. F4Q have gotten onto the site. Tens and Shazam playing a little high-low, but High gets taken out. Tens trading it out, though. He's going to heal back up. Spike goes down, upgrading a weapon. And that op has been handed over to Zoms. F4Q down in numbers here, but they do have position. Cosmic Divide is going to come out. F4Q swings out. That's probably the best retake we've seen from them up until this point.
And it was smartly played, too. As soon as we saw Tens actually grab a weapon, Sick changed his mind, ran all the way back around, so they'd still have that height if anybody were ever to try to get the flank in as well. Really smartly played, like you said, one of the best ones we've seen here on this one, and that's their bread and butter. Sentinels being able to just read what's happening on the site take and dismantle you as you try to set up that defensive garrison. 5-5. We thought it would be a 6-6, and it's coming true. F4Q to look towards B on this one. Looks like mid here for Bunny. And he's just going to have the Sheriff. No blast packs this round, so very telling. Going to be a little slower. We'll see how F4Q plays this.
Well, Riv, you be careful now with what you say. You presume he's not going to do it, but again, Bunny's just... That's just kind of the way the guy's built, right? He does have that showstopper, but you're right. For now, F4Q slowly working their way up across the middle of the map. You've got Shazam once again in a cheeky spot with the op, and he dashes away. He's able to get away. They drop the Cloud Burst, give him a little bit more room to work with, as Tens is playing a tight angle.
Going back out for a peek. And honestly, F4Q played it very similar to their previous rounds as well. Zunba, more of the Bunny this round, jumped through his own smoke with that shorty. They're still trying to get these frags up and close. Very personal in this situation here. And Tens knows, save round, I'm not going to be close to a shotgun.
Nope, no shot. Who knows what's inside that smoke? We know that it's actually Zumba, but Tens wisely taking a step back, not willing to put that up to chance. So you see, F4Q here have dropped an alarm bot into the entrance towards ropes, right? So if they do go A, that flank is going to be given away. You've also got Efina who's playing close by, make sure it doesn't get canceled out, but they are going to lean over towards B6, able to land one shot. Shazam with the op is there, but the gravity wall's great. The gravity wall's wonderful. Shazam's able to get one. Tens gets one as well. It's just the shorty that you mentioned remaining in the round here for F4Q. Zumba still trying to play this tight angle, but hate to break it to you, buddy. Sentinels know exactly where you are.
Oh! Goes for the Oni, gets Oni'd. He's down. Prime Gaming Flawless coming out there from Sentinels.
Last round
They are
in the
still
half.
for sure, or confident about themselves, I should say, on the ecos. They moved smart, they played it. And you know what? They knew that still around F4Q could really surprise on. They backed up a little bit. There's respect being given here by both teams, and we're having a hell of a match right now for just our first map. Great coverage on everything they need. It's just dead to rights. Kind of looked like he gave up at that point. Sometimes you're hoping that first shot hits and they miss. Not the case this time.
He's gonna go fast again. It's the last round of the half. No reason not to keep the
Showstopper for Bunny.
showstopper. Yep, so he's got it in his pocket. But this is what I was talking about. Rafe, you hit fast so quickly every single round, then you throw the brakes on it. And like, Sentinels, what do you do with this? Here we go. It's going to be a bit more delayed, but the play is going to be the same. The showstopper's in his face. Dapper gets cleaned up. Sick up top. He's going to drop down as well as F4Q have gotten onto the site. They're huddled up. The flash was there, but the swing was just a tad early. As Bunny gets punished for it, the res is going to come out to bring him back online. Sentinels have been pushed off the site. They have to retake this as the spike goes down.
So interesting. This is the second time Sick has placed this wall, but it creates a funnel on the right side. It was further forward before, now it's a little further back as they give themselves the angles they want to work with inside of Sentinels.
Shazam has the Blade Storm. Sick has the res as well. There goes that Blade Storm. Esperanza playing tight at 3v3. The res comes out. Zumba, the swing! Oh, the Leer was there! The Leer was great! Just barely keeping people alive. Tens drops, but so does Athena. Riv, you called it. You called for a 6-6, and oh, baby, that's exactly what we got.
Stats don't lie on this one. A 70% attack win rate for F4Q, a 70% defense win rate for Sentinels, and they just clash in our first half.
Such a good half. Such a good half. Folks, we're going to throw it over to Bala. There's so much to talk about here. I'm sorry, I said 6-6. It's actually 7-5. I got fired up. We're going to throw it over to Bala to break down what he saw in the first half. Bala, take it away.
Thank you so much, guys. This is an electric match to start off. Korea looks so strong today in both of their outings. Of course, we will try to break down one of these rounds. The important part, like Doug, like Riv have been mentioning over and over and over, there's a speed that Bunny has. So let's set it up really quickly. Bunny's over here in sewers. This is round number 3. We've got 5K over here and Zumba paired up with Bunny as well. Look at the stars that Zumba has put down. He's got 1. That's going to be a smoke on ropes. 2, that's another thing here in mail that he can use. And then 3, which one is going to be used? That's the important part. Makes it very difficult to guess what's going to happen here for Sick up top mid. So let's go ahead and roll the clip and see exactly what goes out. There's a flash here from 5K all the way up in the ropes. And you saw Bunny leap across the site. Here's the stars, the placements. Everything is important. Which ones does he pop as Sick gets caught in them too? First off, the smoke, the timing as they come up. The flash you saw go across the screen. We're going to look one more time from 5K's POV to see where it goes as well. And after that, we'll take a look at the reactions. So, Bunny with the double satchels. The speed is important here. He pops another smoke there, too. Let's see. Pause it just as you see. There's the gravity well. Look at Sick. He has nothing to do. He is stuck. He is just completely lost. Tens is over here trying to help out. And that's the good adjustment that Sentinels has been making over time. So go ahead and roll it, as he almost takes out Tens as well. But like I said, the adjustment is to play back. So rest of the round, what happens? Pause it again. We'll see that we have Athena all the way over towards A, trying to hold off any push that goes on there. Zumba back over towards B link. 5K still alive, paired up with Esperanza in mid. For Sentinels, this is the great part about them. Because of Dapper's utility in the back of sight, because he's got this cage, this tripwire, they don't have to worry too hard about what's going to come down into B because they saw so much presence in mid. So they re-clear tower. They push back up in close to mail so that they can get info. Is there anybody hiding behind the cage that Dapper's put down? Or do we have to do something else? Shazam at the same time is also trying to clear through vents. Let's go ahead and roll it from here. Zoms, of course, the lone anchor holding down the A site. So from here, F4Q decides to push up and through heaven. So here's a nice kill from 5K. A flash through posit right there. Yeah, you saw where that flash popped? Right here. Right there, just on the outside of that smoke. And just the difference will be made between Tens getting this kill or 5K actually chasing him down. That slight pixel is so important in pro play, and that's the reason Tens is able to clean it up. But the round's not over, so go ahead and continue rolling it as we close this out. Tens will clean it up. Almost goes down to Zumba, who's very close, but Zumba plays it smart, right? He backs away, he goes down, takes a little bit of extra space. Okay, it's clear in spawn. Pause it right there to talk about the information that he got. Inside of spawn, nothing there, so that means later on he can push it. Where did Tens go? We don't know. Let's go ahead a little bit more. There's just a few moments left in the round as the spike gets planted and whatnot, so we can actually probably take it a little fast as he puts down a smoke. That's the key to plant the spike. The alarm bot, the turret comes up. Tens tries to push through, but Afina is holding him strong, and this is the key moment right here that wins the round for Zumba. He pushes into spawn and gets a little bit more information. He knows that based off of what we just heard from the turret up in the top, just what we heard there, he can push up a little bit because there's one heaven, so he spots. That's Zoms coming over from A. He has so much time with Afina to fight into heaven. That's Shazam. He falls, but now Shazam is committed down in underneath heaven, and he'll isolate the fight. Zoms a little too fast, and that's going to be the round. Very clean from F4Q all the way through, but also clean from Sentinels, and that's how they get 7-5 in that half. Doug, Riv, it's back to you guys.
Thank you so much, Bali. Yeah, there is a lot that we can talk about with how F4Q like to play things out, but as you mentioned, or as Bala mentioned, Riv, the adaptations that Sentinels have made got them to this point, right? Because early on, there's like, where do we defend? Like, where's that punch going to come in from? Now we see Sentinels on the attack half. We'll see what they can dial up.
I'm expecting Bunny to still go forward here. Is he in mid yet? No. He's playing in the backside, actually. They're playing behind quite a bit of utility. Zunba's going to work through a star himself with a gravity well prep behind. And looks like they will leave Afina to his own devices there on A. Hold it down. Slow to start, much different here in our second half.
Very different indeed. So you've got a couple of Astra Stars that are actually just being countered as I say that out of the hands of Zumba. Again, you talk about a Sage Wall in a pistol. It just takes forever to get through that thing. They knife through it, preserve ammo, and it doesn't hit very hard anyway. As now they begin to work towards the middle of the map, you've got a brutal crossfire setup, and it almost looks like for Sentinels, they're thinking about it. You see Sick is going to creep his way forward, but he's got to check the 50. I don't know that he's going to check the 50. No, he just waltzes right in, falls into their trap. Zumba cleans up Sick.
Looks like they're going to be working towards that A side. Nobody's on A. They're all going to be coming out of heaven, so it might be a little attack on the back. No, they make noise immediately in heaven. See what they can pull out of either one of the entries into that heaven area, and it looks like they are just going to go in full for A. They have to act now because it's going to be a big flank from F4Q.
Oh, the flash is great. But Shazam's able to clean up F4Q. Afina's still trying to hold down the site backside, and so far he's gotten away with it. Shazam catches him on the side, but the spike goes down. Now Shazam's the one who's anchoring backside. You've also got Zoms who's playing close by, but they haven't gotten the spike down. They have only 12 seconds left. It shouldn't be a problem. Oh, they might know where Zoms is. Yeah, they know where Zoms is. He's going to get caught. Shazam's alone in a 1v4. Or 1v3, excuse me. He's got 42 health to work with. As, again, trying to hold down backside. He's going to drop. F4Q win the pistol.
A great round for them. It keeps it a lot tighter as well within the rounds. It won't matter as much if Sentinels were to get a few. They can keep that eco close. So let's see how this one plays out for F4Q. Do they feel like they can kind of tack on a little bit of power here towards Sentinels and push them back even more? Make Sentinels feel like the map is not theirs, even on that attack side. We'll see how this round goes. Afina up there on top, fragging out quite well for the team throughout this series. And we were wondering if it would be Bunny or, you know, who was that, Zunba up on top, or Esperanza. So having more fraggers for F4Q means the team is vibing real well, and we can definitely see it on their faces.
Vibes indeed immaculate, or so the kids say. Wall goes up across mid, much like we saw in the previous round. Buys some time. Pistols across the board for Sentinels here. You've got a couple of Sheriffs in tow for Shazam and Tens. Oh, and some info gathered from Shazam as well.
Ouch. Spike drop for now. Zoms being a little rat up on the wall to see if anybody peeks. Full utility here by Afina has been used on A. Pick up turret, pick up bot, but mollies are down.
Yeah, Tens was slowly creeping his way up into B from garage, and he had gotten some space, but then Zumba was there to stuff that push, extinguish that threat. So Tens drops. No Arena antics this time around. His numbers heavily in favor of F4Q here. Map in favor of F4Q. Sentinels really haven't been able to get much as far as real estate goes in this round.
They're trying to figure someone's on the right, pull the frag out. For me, I'll take some shots. They're realizing they don't think anybody's in that mail room right now. As it gets blasted back a bit. 5K says, oh, there's some for me, as he peeks out.
Oh, Shazam's able to get two. numbers still in favor of F4Q, but Shazam, he's down to 55 health. My goodness, I thought he was going to repel right into the crosshair. But 5K is able to clean him up. That's going to leave Sick alone here. He was able to upgrade, so he's got a Spectre in hand. Maybe he can make something happen here. But there are two members of F4Q hot on